We are 101.5, 101.5, KFGM, Frenchtown, Missoula, the Bitterroot, and streaming around the world, at 101.5, at 101.5, KFGM.org. I'm joined in the studio by DJ Coach Shane. I'm joined in the studio by Groovy. Thanks for coming back.
You know, groovy indeed, Dr. Fly. It's a pleasure to be in the hot seat, I gotta tell you.
You do gotta tell me. What do you...
Tell you.
Why did you come here? What do you gotta tell me? Just let it all out. You can... No one's listening. It's just you and me here, Shane.
I'll give you the short answer. To get down. I came here to get down. Am I talking about this radio show? Am I talking about this planet?
I don't know.
Yes, that's the answer.
All of the above?
Yes.
What?
Yeah, I came to get down. Yeah.
What does getting down mean to you, Shane?
Well, in this case, I knew it was going down. And I had the luxury and the privilege and the ability to just park my butt right here. Plopped in, whether or not you acknowledged me or not. I have the ability to get a front row seat. And you better believe it, I'm taking advantage of it.
Well, I'm really glad you came down.
Yeah. I was watching some nature films. How was the first hour of your show?
It's been nice. I did you know how I've been doing just the vocal of a song and then messing with I did Radiohead's Creep.
Ooh, okay.
That was a fun one.
Yeah.
That Tom York, when you can just hear his voice just by itself.
And Creep is on Pablo Honey, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah.
I have been appreciating. I played the Bends at my strip club job yesterday.
Like the song The Bends?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, The Bends is a good album. Pablo Honey, good album.
That's a groovy one.
And Jess and I, my beloved fiance, were listening to Paranoid Android. And I was talking about that music video. Are you familiar with the music video?
I believe so.
It's animated.
Oh
it's
no,
cartoon.
I'm thinking of a different one.
Carmen Police has the it's in like a nice Cadillac car.
Yeah.
The views from the car, and there's a guy like sets it on fire outside. Paranoid Android was a. Can I go in?
Yeah.
About Paranoid Android?
Yeah, please.
So, Paranoid Android, or OK Computer, I got as a stocking stuffer the cassette. It was one of the last years when cassettes were still like relevant because your Walkman.
Yeah.
You had a cassette player, Walkman, and that was when the Discman was also available. But so this was like 97. 97. I was 11 years old, and I watched MTV as early as I could. Absorbed a lot of things that were above my age ability to grasp. But I was very interested in the Paranoid Android music video because it is a cartoon, and I could tell somehow this cartoon wasn't made specifically for Radiohead. Like something in the collective consciousness, if you will, told me this was from like an episodic show. And I knew Radiohead was British. And I said, it must be like a British cartoon that has never reached. This was in the days of, I think there's like 63 channels total on my cable subscription. I think Absolutely Fabulous, and Are You Being Served were some of the only British sitcoms that had come to me. Any British anything.
I'm not familiar with those.
Then one day, MTV, back when MTV had like MTV News and more journalistic stuff, got into the music, it did actually show an episode from the cartoon that was featured in Paranoid Android. And it was about this, there's in the video, there's a black boy and a white boy. And they kind of look a little bit like British, like hipsters.
Mm-hmm.
A punky. One kind of looks like the guy Tricky. Tricky was a trip hop artist from England. He was also in The Fifth Element. He was one of the bad guys.
Oh man, that's a whole nother.
That's a whole nother story. But Tricky, this guy, one looked like Tricky. One was a white guy with a knit cap that he hung low. And in the episode that MTV showed, and it was a day that I skipped school. And it was a great day to skip school.
Playing hooky.
Because at like 11 o'clock in the morning on MTV, they decided to show this episode. And the white boy's grandfather, he took him to the barber shop. He was like, all right, you gotta know what it's like to go to the barber shop. That was a memory I remember. I remember my dad took me to the barber shop for the first time, coming of age, you know. But in the cartoon, there was a shampoo girl. You know, shampoos your hair before you get your hair done. Well, the grandpa had the apron over him, and he was cleaning off his glasses underneath with the apron on. And the shampoo girl, you know, classic kind of slightly awkward. Sometimes their breasts might get in your zone of vision. This was happening. And as the grandpa was cleaning his glasses underneath like the apron, and the shampoo girl saw the rising and falling of his hand cleaning the glasses. He was kind of cleaning it in his lap.
Oh boy!
She mistook it for him.
Wow. I don't know. Can we even discuss this kind of behavior on the
inappropriate.
radio?
She thought he was being inappropriate.
Uh-huh.
And I was 11, and I said, "Wow, that's great. That's great writing. That's great. What a scenario." I wondered if that actually happened in real life, or was that just conjured?
MTV really being able to watch it at that age, you learn about a lot of things like that.
Yeah. I did. That was also in the era, liquid television, they called it.
Yes.
I just recently scooped up a VHS of like a compilation of liquid television's best stuff. I have not watched it yet. I'm saving it. But like the Head.
Max Headroom?
There was a show that was just
Well, I thought for some reason I was thinking that he was involved with liquid television, but I might be mistaken.
The show I was referring to was called The Head. It was about like a high school boy. Something happened, but he got giganticism in his head, and I think his head also like spoke to him and stuff.
Wow.
One night, the Max was also a part of liquid television. Aeon Flux also was too, which was a pretty gnarly cartoon before they made the movies and all that. The Max was awesome. The Max was I think a DC comic. It does have some Batman connections. When Batman is like in Arkham, when he goes insane for some reason or other, like the Max becomes like a figment of his imagination in this whole series. Yes, going back to the fact that MTV used to have lots of really quality programming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My parents never forbid me to watch it, but it always felt a little bit naughty for some reason.
Yeah.
Which was cool.
Yeah. I was forbidden too.
Oh, wow.
And so I knew it was naughty, and I loved it all the more for it. Yeah.
And you had to skip school just to watch it.
To get the good stuff.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. And it's interesting too. I mean, most of what I make my living off of is from what I learned by watching MTV when it cared. BET was also really good. VH1 actually had some decent stuff too. Yeah. And yeah, like when I was in the role of a teacher, I tried to keep that in mind whenever I'd think students when they'd be pursuing things that they were really interested in. And me, with my grown-upness, would kind of shake my fist. It's like, nah, I don't think this is useful knowledge. I would try to remind myself that all my extracurricular stuff is really where I've impressed a lot of babes, and I've made a lot of money on. And that's what we're trying to do with education.
I'd say
help you make money and find a mate.
Yeah. It's weird, the things that end up sticking with you and inspiring you throughout your life. A lot of times it's just what you stumbled on.
Totally.
It's what you ran into.
My favorite also I would pay so much attention whenever the teacher would say, "This won't be on the test." Then I would perk up.
Yeah.
I'd be like, "Oh, okay, I'm going to pay attention now."
When you were growing up, do you feel like did you get good grades?
Yeah, I was able to.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But for me, I was learning things. I was memorizing them long enough for the test. I wasn't really trying to retain the information. It was more the skill of learning and memorizing.
Just acquire that content, spit it back out, and then on with your life.
Yeah.
I recently came across a bunch of worksheets and homework assignments from when I was in 8th grade. A lot of American government stuff that it was my handwriting.
Yeah.
And I knew it then. I was smart. I was a lot smarter in 8th grade about a lot of things. Certain things. But it's just funny how, I don't even remember doing them. And it had the grade on it and everything.
Wow.
Yeah. And just goes to show that college degree that you got 15 years ago.
Yeah.
If you're not still staying up on it.
No, most of the stuff in my day-to-day life it wasn't from the classes, but you still learn a lot in school, just how to memorize things, and also how to be a social being,
I had a really smart friend who was always capable of seeing more than what I could see. I'll just say that. In certain ways, of course. And he put it really well in college. He's one of those people that was very smart and could basically you pick it and you're gonna go places, kid. He's now an actuary. I think technically it's an actuary scientist. They work with insurance companies, running the numbers to basically make sure the insurance company will always make money off of everything, and that's a valuable skill to possess.
Yeah,
and so
I suppose so.
Fetch a good ransom for their information that they hold hostage, that they trade for gold. But he put it really well. He was finishing up his degree, and at that time I had switched my major multiple times and was utopian educational system is what I need. And he said, listen, really what a degree is, it's just a stamp from other people who have put you through certain you've had to cross off many boxes, and that just lets other people who want you to check off boxes know this person's capable of checking off boxes.
Jump through hoops, if you will.
And he simplified it real well. He said, just that's all you got to do. Don't overthink it. But I went to college to overthink. I wanted to be a philosopher. So, and he was the opposite of a philosopher. He was like, here's my philosophy. Just acquire that stamp.
Yeah.
So you can pass that stamp. And I was like, no, that's what's wrong with everything.
Yes. Sometimes you have to play within the system in order to achieve your goals and then be able to escape it.
Absolutely.
To some degree.
Which is why I am glad I did stick around in the higher education system as long as I did, to make sure, if I quit college 4 different times and came back 4 different times. If I left after that first time, I learned a lot about life each time. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then after the 4th time, I said, all right, I am done. And certainly. There's even my advisor was like,
I want to just call it good.
You should probably do.
Yeah.
If you feel you're being hindered, you probably know by now. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right. Professor Moody. He was a cool guy.
Yeah.
He was a contact juggler. And as a modern philosopher, this is back in 2004, I picked him up as an advisor. Kept him until 2009. He was very fascinated. My first philosophy class, he said, AI. That's where all philosophers are concerned about right now. He was really hip to the Turing test, which is the measure that they grade all artificial intelligence. Like that movie Ex Machina.
Never caught it.
It's
been meaning to.
That's basically a whole film where they're kind of carrying out the Turing test. If you can interact with a machine and you can't tell if it is a machine or a human. And of course, in this past year, we've had quite a bit of advances in that area.
I'm, yeah. Every passing day, it gets closer.
And of course, you've seen either The Matrix or Terminator 2.
Yeah.
Where it just takes that one decision.
Yeah.
And it can come at any moment. And then once it turns, then its exponential rate of growth is quite astounding.
Yeah. But yeah, it does seem to be changing exponentially. And I don't think there's a lot of asking why we need it. Why it's like the hubris of humanity. We just have to just follow these paths and just advance the technology as much as it can be advanced.
You put it well. I've often noted that the industrialist, the capitalist, does not concern himself with questions of why and should. It's only can it be done? Can it?
I understand that mindset.
And even we see that in entertainment as well. Can it be pulled off?
Yeah.
Not should it be pulled off? And I do. I'm quite conservative.
I've always known you to be a conservative
in certain capacities. Yeah. But that is one area where I definitely say, we need to be asking should. Should, not can it. Will it make us money? Yeah, but should it be made? But again, so there's certain people that don't. That's a beautiful thing about life. I think a lot. One thing I thought about, it really, the catalyst was I was watching Pulp Fiction. And Marcellus Wallace is a powerful character in that film. And he's kind of like a criminal madman of sorts. And it got me thinking about criminal madmen. And something I have thought about a lot. Your own reality is your perception is your reality. And
absolutely.
Certain people, like the Truman Show, theory. That they are the center of the universe. Everything did lead up to them, and that completely self-centered belief is valid. It is a potentially valid argument, and madmen are sane to themselves a lot of times.
Yeah.
It's a crazy thing. We got saints and sinners running side by side next to you. You're sitting,
Do you think So there's people out there that are clearly they're just screwing everything up. Do you think that they think they're doing the right thing?
A lot of times, yes. You know, like you see like the Karen,
Oh yeah.
where you're like, dude, you're so wrong.
Yeah.
But they
okay.
are, and like belief. I think about this when I worked with these Mormons, and I grew up Catholic. I grew up Irish Catholic, and believed in a lot of things, and I still do actually believe. I believe a lot of things. I have convictions that it truly. I say it truly is like a miracle when someone believes. That's why love is so beautiful. These intangible things, no,
Yeah.
or even completely unable to be proven things that people do believe. And when you believe, like you know, if you believe certain behaviors will grant you an eternity in this blissful, you know, heaven. What a cure for anxiety. If you believe, you know, then you know. You might be, you might be wrong to somebody else, but like to you, you know it, and then so therefore you don't doubt if you're doing the right thing. You know you're doing the right thing.
And your perception is your reality.
Right? And we see that, I mean, it is very, like, today, you know, like this week ahead, we'll see a lot of this side being convinced, like, this is the right thing. We need to stop this. Right on the other side is the exact inverse.
There's something happening this week in particular?
I mean, yeah, a lot of like the on the universities. That's.
I guess I've got my head in the sand a little bit.
I might recommend keeping it because it's beyond arm's reach.
Yeah.
Um.
Yeah, I interviewed our buddy Nathan Noble earlier tonight.
He keeps one ear to the ground.
Yeah, but I asked him if he believes in ghosts, and he said no. And then I asked him, like, does he like truly believe that they don't exist, or he just, or does he just, there's a difference between like not knowing or
Not
having
caring.
the belief. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Not concerning
like
yourself.
kind of a difference between an agnostic and an atheist.
Yeah.
And he just said, like it doesn't help him to concern himself with that kind of so it's almost like the lack of believing was the anxiety relief.
Yeah. My dad has at different times in my life urged me to not concern myself with certain things. And it is good advice. I mean, he was one that was able to do a lot.
Yeah.
I can't be concerned with that right now because I'm doing this.
Yeah, I get into that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I guess keeping myself busy is helpful.
That
'cause
is the
then,
best.
Then I can't dwell on the unknowns.
Especially when you believe you're doing good work.
Yeah.
When you believe you're doing good things, Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I believe that so much, but I just kind of it's more instinct based. I'm just kind of following whatever seems right at the time.
Let me run this by you.
Okay.
I've had periods in my life where I've been in addiction. I'm a bit of an addict.
Yeah.
And there's been times where in my voice to myself has been like, you ain't living right. Have you ever gone through that? Have you ever gone through periods where you've known like, oh, I'm not on the right path, and I'm walking the wrong direction here?
I have a vague sense that is possible all the time, but I haven't had a strong feeling that I'm doing the wrong thing. I'll have waves where it's more than others, but it's always I kind of just I don't know if it's a problem, but I feel like good and bad and scared and happy, like kind of all at once all the time. So I've never really felt sure that I'm doing the right thing or the wrong thing. But I can see some evidence over the past, 10 years, whatever, living in Missoula and stuff that I must be doing okay.
I'd say so. Yes. I'll even say on my own end, when I was aware of that, I want to say I was straddling the line. One foot.
Yeah.
One foot I knew was off the path, but one still was.
Yeah, but you knew you had to make a change.
And even just acknowledging like, oh, I'm in a rut.
Yeah.
I cooked my pickle this time.
Yeah.
And I do. I mean, I also life is your adventure to live.
Yeah.
And I'm a bit of a rascal.
Yeah.
I kind of enjoy. I like to say like I've never given myself anything I didn't actually want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the rascal's journey.
Yeah. There's a time when I was a good old altar boy. And I think even I owed it to myself to just be a bad boy. And then just try those shoes on, and you find, you know what, actually, I do like being a good guy. Yeah.
Yeah, how do you know unless you see the other side?
Yeah. I like some people are content to just trust or believe.
Yeah.
I like to I'm an experiential. I guess you could say. Well, Shawnee, I sure do appreciate you putting me in the hot seat.
Oh yeah. Well, that kind of a wrap it up kind of a.
That was me just acknowledging it's been a minute. I don't want to take too much of your listeners' time here.
Well, I go till at least midnight. All right, this can segue into something.
We are cooking. We haven't cooked. I didn't mean to cut it short by any means. Yeah,
well, the cool thing is we can do this again.
It's quite easy. Like I said, I've got access. I've got a key card.
Yeah. I've been thinking about Mike Chernikoff a lot lately.
Yeah.
And trying to listen to his music. Did you know the guy, Shane? Give me a story if you have one.
Okay, yeah. We didn't hang out much. Like, we didn't, ever share a couch together. But I pretty much hit the ground running. It's when I moved to Missoula in the summer of 2010. And it was soon thereafter I began, just trying to get a grasp of as much as I could of the city, the people in it, the creators, the movers and shakers. And I was kind of a bit of a Goldilocks, if you will, when it came to hip-hop. Any hip-hop I was exposed to was either, too hard, too soft, it just wasn't right. Myself coming from the East Coast,
you were a snob.
I was dealing with some snobbery, but also just authentically craving something, maybe seeing, what was lacking.
It's okay to know what you like.
And and this one night, this righteous babe, just one of those great Missoula, moments. I was just maybe in the middle of jaywalking, and maybe they were too, or they were on the sidewalk, and they called, "What are you doing?" I'm just looking for trouble, looking for it, like Mr. Soap, or no, Trailer Park Jordan.
Trailer Park Jordan.
I think it was at the time.
One of the pseudonyms that preceded Mr. Soap.
Yep. And I believe Wormwood was also part of this bill. It was down at the Palace. Went down and borderline jaw drop. Certainly fairly speechless during the performance.
They got you.
Got me so good.
You liked it.
Got me. I like it.
Yes.
Mommy, I think he likes it. Yeah. And I looked over at my friend, and she kind of gave a duh. But then, just being a downtowner, many times crossing the street, passing, maybe giving props, bows, much respect to each other. I think it was the last summer he was around. I had one of my famous stories. when I had to shake down the seed farmer, um, Nathan Noble had hooked me up with this job, drawing on my deep love for the arrowleaf balsam root, which is approaching full bloom right now. That wildflower in particular really just ignites me. And there's a farmer businessman in the Flathead region who harvests wildflower seeds, and he accepted farm hands, if you will. And so around various spots around Flathead Lake, we would collect the arrowleaf balsam root seeds. And where I was posted up this one day, Michael Chernikov just walked. It was like an off-road kind of deal.
Oh man.
And we caught up for a moment. He was helping look after his sister's kid. Or was he staying at his sister's house with his kid?
He didn't have a
kid
of his own.
It was his sister's kid. Yeah. And yeah, it's a great moment, great guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Mike Chernikov. He went by the name Mr. Soap. He's a guy that I grew up with, and Mr. Soap is a direct influence for the Dr. Fly name. Just kind of.
Yeah.
Same vibe.
Very much.
But yeah, he inspired a lot of my friends. He was a couple grades older than us, so.
What year did he graduate?
Probably, I think he was 2 years older than me, so 05, maybe he was 3.
Cool.
But yeah, when like me and Nathan and the other ruffians were just first learning to play music, we were getting exposed to all this hip hop, which definitely changed the course of my life.
Oh yeah. Once you're hypnotized, you never go back. You're never the same again. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm on his Bandcamp page right now.
Let's play some Mr. Soap, please. Yeah.
I'm going to just I haven't listened to most of these songs. Maybe a long time ago when they came out I did, but since his passing I've just kind of had to let it be for a long time. And I'm just getting back into it. All right, this album is called Calm It Down, and the song is Mercurator.
Excellent.
Heck yeah. Sweet dreams, Shane.
Sweet dreams, Johnny.